Thank you, Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Greens to speak on the Road Transport Legislation Amendment Automated Seatbelt Enforcement Bill and indicate the Greens' support for this bill. I acknowledge that the Minister is here and recognise that the bill will amend the road transport legislation and related legislation to allow automatic detection of seatbelt infringements relying on existing infrastructure used for mobile phone-related infringements. This is important because we know that the non-use of seatbelts is a significant contributing factor in road-related fatalities, and we know that Australia's road toll continues to rise despite vehicles being safer than ever before and constantly improving. Whatever we can do to reduce the risks associated with having so many cars on our roads and tragically so many deaths, we absolutely must. For the occupants of vehicles at least, the simple act of strapping into a safety belt is one of the most important steps that we as individuals can take. That is why it is illegal to drive without wearing a seatbelt, properly fitted, wherever one is available. It's why drivers have a legal responsibility to ensure passengers are safely strapped in. This should not come as news to anyone. There are long-established rules, and the principle is one that we are all familiar with because we know that a person in a car is so much more likely to survive an accident if they are properly wearing a seatbelt. This bill's amendments will authorise the approval of existing cameras to detect certain seatbelt offences, to photograph vehicles where detection occurs, and for the resulting images to be used as evidence of a seatbelt-related offence. A number of additional amendments will also be made to ensure the proper administration of this scheme. One thing that is missing from this bill are the details on how and when this new detection method will become operational and the processes by which road users will be made aware of these changes. We have heard and been briefed by the government on the fact that they will give drivers a 9-month warning period in which people who are caught disregarding these long-established rules by these existing cameras will now be allowed to detect them not wearing a seatbelt and will be given a warning rather than a fine. While it makes sense for some kind of grace period to apply so that drivers can get used to a new rule, I would question whether or not, and the Greens question whether or not a 9-month warning period for something that is already a requirement is something that can be justified in terms of compliance with an existing and well understood rule that is already in place. Notwithstanding this concern, the Greens will absolutely support this bill, and we hope to work with the government to ensure that all road users across New South Wales are aware of the change that is introduced, but also to address whether or not the requirement for a warning period of that length of time should be necessary in a situation where already those rules to wear a seatbelt and buckle up are in place.